On today's show, how to command respect with a click. Part 5 of this week's series on easy marketing for instant results with award-winning marketer and business growth strategist, Jeremiah Desmarais. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician in Innsmouth. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, day 5, how are you surviving our series?
Doing great.
Well, I want to know what it's like to command respect. I thought I had to earn it, maybe not. Why don't you tell us about the show's giveaway today, and then let's get into this segment.
Absolutely. So, as you know, we're big fans of the Let's Get Down to Business show, and we think that every advisor should be watching it. I think you're giving a lot of great value, so we want to do the same thing. If you go to agencygrowthacademy.com/Steve, we're going to give you a template that will teach you different methodologies to get respect and recognition literally with a click or less than a second using the brain's authority trigger. So it's really cool stuff. It's a blend of psychology and marketing with real field tests that we experimented with that works really well in the financial world.
Well, when I think about commanding respect, it sounds like I have to be in the business X amount of years. Things like I have to be a little older. I have to start wearing a little gray on the side of my head before I can really gain and garnish any kind of respect. But you have a tactic or a strategy, I should say, that actually can do this with a click.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're absolutely right, Steve, and I want to address this too, because I know a lot of the members of the audience who watch this show probably feel that, maybe I don't have enough experience, I don't make enough money, I haven't helped enough people, and I haven't been in the game for as many years to be seen as kind of the preeminent or the best advisor out there. And, up until this point, I would say that, the long road to becoming seen as the most respected or the most prestigious advisor was very long, very hard, and also very expensive. And only very few small, I'd say less than a dozen advisors have ever achieved that in the whole country, people who have written books, right? So, there's a couple ways you can write a book. You can sit down and write it. You can dictate it to a ghostwriter and put down anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 and have someone do that for you. A lot of advisors do that, and it's pretty prestigious to walk into an office and instead of having a business card, you put a book on the table and that's my business card. But those methodologies take a lot of time to do. But here's what kind of led me to this. It actually came from real personal epic failure that I had early on in my career, Steve, is that I was responsible for taking a product from the insurance world into the mortgage world. And I knew that in order to get that product there successfully, and if we didn't have any authority, nobody knew who we were, and most of us kind of feel the same way, right? Nobody knows who we are. I had to leverage authority that already existed in the minds of the brokers that we were trying to target. So what I did is I started interviewing different media sources and said, okay, if I could get my CEO on this media or on this media, then instantly he would leverage that authority and then be able to, have a platform for his message. Well, I had zero buying authority at that time in my career. I was about 24 years old. But something possessed me. I think I was being wined and dined, and it was the first time in my life that media came to me and was taking me out. I signed an insertion order for $10,000. And I thought, man, I'm going to get my CEO the kind of authority he wants. And the next day, I almost got fired for doing that.
Because the price tag was so high.
Because the price tag. I didn't have any money to spend, and I had, guaranteed the company $10,000. Yeah, hey, no problem. We're going to go ahead and do that. So obviously I had a really cool CEO and he gave me an opportunity to fix my mess, and thankfully I was able to get through it. But what I learned, Steve, is that if you can leverage the authority that other organizations have in the minds of your audience, you can almost get command with a click. And it's based on research that we've been doing and lots of studies that we've seen in the field of human psychology, that there's a part of the brain we call it the authority trigger, but it's actually the part of the brain that's associated with what's called processing fluency. And what that means is that if the brain sees something often enough, like a logo or a brand or a media entity, the more often it sees it, the faster it processes it. And if you take a product, let's take this mouse, for example, and we associate this mouse with that product that already has good feelings and good vibes in our brain, we are much more likely to say that this product is a higher quality product that we are more likely to enjoy, even though it could be an inferior product. Now, obviously, what I'm going to teach here can be very dangerous if you're someone who sells unethical products. So I'm going to assume that if you're watching this show today, that you're an ethical person, you use products in an ethical way, and you only exist to serve your community. So that's kind of the caveat. And that's how this strategy works so well.
When we come back from the break, we're going to walk through this with Jeremiah. I think you're going to find this hugely interesting, and it could be very impactful for your practice. We'll be right back. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to our second segment. Jeremiah, walk us through this because I kind of like the way you're presenting this. I'm commanding respect by a few little strategies here with one click.
That's right. Yeah. So before I get to this, I just want to say that, a lot of us have never been cited in the major media, CNN, Fox, CBS News. And that's okay because there's other ways that you can command respect. If you're associated with, let's say, a group or an association, so we have a lot of great associations in the insurance and financial world. There's also ones that are more recognized by the consumer groups. So that's one thing too. I'm going to go a little tangential. I'm going to come back to my main point, right? It's not about what do you think is an authority, Steve, as an advisor, and it's not what you and I think are authorities being in the financial insurance world, is what does our consumer think is an authority? What's a brand that they associate positive emotions with? What's a brand that they can connect with or in their mind already has the authority that you want? And if you know the answer to that, then you can leverage that brand's brand equity and the millions they've spent to build that up in order to do a service to yourself. So let's take one of the most common examples of this is online lead capture forms. So Steve, a lot of the lead companies, what they do is they put up a nice looking page. It's got a little form up there. Maybe you've seen them. And then what they do is they take logos of The Guardian, right? Or MetLife or any other product that resonates with consumers. And when we were doing tests, we've tested millions of different permutations on millions of consumers who are shopping for insurance or financial products online. And Steve, I got to tell you, every time we added a logo that we could ethically use, I'm not talking about using stuff you're not allowed to use, but you take a logo of, let's say, a brand that you represent that has a lot of authority, and you put that on your landing page, on your website, your conversion will go up. So literally, you are commanding more respect, more authority, because the more somebody feels comfortable with your page, the more likely they are to put their information in, right?
So are they basically assuming that if you have MetLife's logo, they must be okay with you?
Exactly. Well, think of the billions MetLife has put in even their little, Peanuts characters brand, Snoopy and Woodstock, right?
The most guarded, by the way, mantra in the insurance industry.
Right, exactly. So they already spent millions to build their brand. Why not just leverage the great brand equity that they have and use that in your marketing if you're allowed to? Now, moving back to this example, I did a quick search and took a screen capture of I just typed in insurance agent Chicago, right? And you can see here that there's 4 different selections. Now, there's something different about one of them, Steve. And if you were to make a choice, who would be the first person you would click on?
Well, I'd go with the one with the media, because that would be telling me that this person has some connects.
That would be obviously the one that you kind of gravitate to, right? Who would be the person you would work with? And just as an example, after I got cited in the major media recently, I was cited on CNN.com and Fox News and CBS, and I've helped build Inc. 500 companies. So we use those logos on my profile shot, and if you go to LinkedIn, you can see it. Well, it's amazing, Steve. After I did that, look what happened. I was averaging 41 people who were looking at my profile within a week. And after putting that on my headshot, I went up to 129, which is a 314% increase in people looking at my profile, basically giving me more authority, more interest, more respect by doing that.
So she actually incorporated this into her headshot that she uses online.
That's right.
Do you recommend that?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to share with you another quick case study. This is a gentleman here who focuses in the real estate investment industry. And he got cited in the major media using a service that we offer. And here's what he said. I've been amazed at the results in 1 week. People engaging on my Facebook went up 500%, Steve. 500% more engagement just by putting those logos. My total reach went up 241% just alone on my business page. So he's already active on Facebook. And what he ended up doing is putting those media authority logos, that was his choice to do that. and look at the engagement.
Now, does that matter if he was on his personal Facebook versus a corporate Facebook?
Well, either way, if you're connected with this gentleman, you're going to look at him and be like, what did he say that's so intriguing? Who is this guy?
That he got quoted by these third-party medias.
Exactly. So even whether it was business or personal, I think it would be a great idea to put them there. Now, this is another gentleman, Corey, another one of our clients in our high-level masterminds. Here's what he did. He said, just last week, I uploaded my citation to LinkedIn. Since uploading, I've had nearly 4 times greater traffic viewing on LinkedIn. I'm excited for the future. I feel this is a big-time credibility boost. So you see that if you can leverage, now obviously you have to be actually cited on these authorities and you have to have something interesting to say, but if you have been, you can see how you can really command respect with a click and get more engagement and more sales and more leads.
So how hard is it to penetrate this market to acquire this?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I've spent about $500,000 of testing to find out what are the best ways to do this. And I've wasted a lot of money on the media and I've learned a lot. But about 7 months ago, as part of a small group, we've actually cracked the code on how to do it, where we can do it with almost 100% guarantee that we can get advisors cited on the major media of Fox News, CBS, and in some rare cases, CNN.com.
That is a huge boon for somebody's practice. I could see how that could really promote and position you in your community.
Absolutely.
That's huge. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Just go out to our site, downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. Want to email me? Just write me, steve@downtobusiness.tv. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next week.